What's up guys, my name is Jonathan with MARR BBQ, and today we're going to be making one of my favorite bites in all of barbecue, some crispy skin pork belly. There's not much that we have to do to this belly. I'm pretty much just going to square it up because there is some really thin pieces here where it's just skin, and I'm sure it would taste really good, but I have a feeling that it might burn, so I'm just going to square it up to be safe. I'll go ahead and round it out a little bit as well. Sorry guys, it looks like I had some audio problems here. But basically I'm just trimming up all the loose ends, anything that doesn't have an even amount of meat, or if it's about a lot of loose skin that doesn't have any meat to protect it on the underside while it's cooking. Just gonna go ahead and trim it up. While I'm having some problems, I would like to thank Neil and 1836 Butchers, the whole 1836 team. They're a great butcher shop here in the Pasadena area. He was able to help me get this skin on pork belly in time for Easter. They have some great products. They are carrying my brisket and fajita seasoning at the moment at their butcher shop. So if you want to take a look at it, please go ahead and head to 1836 and make sure you check out all of their awesome meat and every other product that they have in store. They're amazing, and if you ever have any questions, be sure to ask for Neil. Thanks guys. It's pretty simple. All you want really is a very, very dry skin, and you can get rid of some of the silver skin here on the back that you think might burn up, or any loose bits of meat as well. That's looking pretty good to me. Although it's going to be going in the fridge overnight and drying on a wire rack, I'm just going to go ahead and pat it dry a little bit to help it out beforehand. And we also will be seasoning the meat side right now, just to start getting a little bit of flavor in the meat. So right now we're seasoning with a tiny bit of our unreleased rub, which is a cowboy butter style rub called the Cattleman. It's not out yet, but it will be very soon. And although it's not traditional, we're just trying out something new today. I can't say that this is traditional for crispy skin pork belly either. This is our brisket rub. It goes good on any of your large proteins like brisket, pork butt, pork ribs, turkeys, anything of that sort. We're gonna go ahead and put this on our pork belly. And I do want to be careful that I don't get any of this on the skin, but we do want to go pretty heavy. And that pretty much is looking good to me. That's pretty much all that we need to do for tonight. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it. Wipe any of this seasoning off, because we don't want anything but salt on this side tomorrow. Tuck it in. That's looking pretty good to me, so we're just gonna go ahead and put it on a wire rack and put it in the fridge overnight, and we will see you in the morning. Good morning guys, it's been around 8 hours and the skin is looking just about as dry as I need it to be. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is just pour a bunch of salt all over the skin and put it on the pit. And I know that this looks like a lot of salt, but this is not going to give the pork any flavor. It's basically going to become one big crust, and we're going to take it all off once it gets dry enough. Around 2.5 hours later, we can see that the salt is starting to do its job. It's definitely one single piece right about now. You can tell that the skin is pretty protected. It hasn't been getting hit by any smoke, so the salt is definitely doing its job. I temped it and it's temping right around 160. I'm wanting for it to get around 180, 185, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. I accidentally broke the salt, but as you can see, it's coming off on like one piece, or it should at least. The skin is pretty dry. We're just waiting for it to reach temp, so we can go ahead and pull it and put it in the oven to crisp up that skin. At this point, the salt has done its job. The pork belly is reading around 185, 186, and the skin is very dry, so we can go ahead and take this off. Scrape off any excess. We're gonna take it inside, put some water in the pan, and put it in the oven at around 400 degrees. We're going in the oven at 400 degrees for around an hour. At least that's what I'm hoping for, to crisp that skin up as much as we can. We want that glassy, we're looking for that glassy skin, not the very puffy skin. So around this time, the pork belly had been on the pit for around 6 hours and in the oven for around an hour and a half. At this point, it's already finished. It has the color I want. The skin is nice and crispy, so we're just gonna go ahead and pull it and let it rest, cool down to around 150, 145. Alright guys, so I took this out of the oven whenever the skin started to look very glassy and crispy. You'll know whenever it's done, whenever you can hear this. And after that, I rested it for around 35 minutes just for the internal temperature to cool down and all the juices to settle. Just slice on it. Oh my god, nice, nice. Look at that. Perfect, glassy, and juicy. That's good. You know, do it more time. Oh, that's it. That's right. Hey, nice. I think more like that. To make it work. Okay. Let me go. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. That was a pretty fun and easy cook. As long as you follow a couple rules of thumb, make sure that you cover the skin completely in salt, as that's the only barrier that it has from the smoke. And you want to keep it as dry and clean as possible. So whenever you do put it in the oven, or if you want to do this, if you just want to go ahead and raise the temperature in your smoker or broil it or whatever you want to go ahead and do, whenever you raise that temperature and you take that salt off, it'll start crisping up nicely. If you want to go ahead and do a bubbly skin, that's completely fine as well. My preference is the glass-like crispy skin that so many people have grown to love from Hoodoo Brown BBQ. And honestly, I can say that this is probably one of my favorite bites in barbecue. If it's not my favorite, it's a pretty close second behind brisket. I really think that you guys should give this a try. I really do think that this is one of the best bites in barbecue. If you guys want to follow this recipe as close as possible, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to my rubs in the description down below. Once again, I did use the Texan brisket rub for this recipe, and I also used a garlic cowboy butter seasoning that is in the works, and that should be out soon. It's not on the website yet, but it will be soon as I get that packed. So if you want to get as close as possible as of right now, all you got to do is use the brisket rub. But whenever that garlic butter seasoning does come out, that will be the best way for you to match my exact result. If you guys have any questions about this cook in particular, or if you want to see me cook anything else, please make sure to leave it down in the comments. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video, please. Thank you guys.